When my grandfather passed away, I inherited something I never expected. 5,400 acres of land in rural America. Buried inside that property was an active limestone quarry that had been operating legally for decades. I thought the inheritance would bring responsibility, not a war with my own neighborhood HOA. The property had an active quarry, several old service roads, wooded sections, and enormous deposits of usable gravel. The quarry was fully permitted, inspected, and operating under established regulations. I hired professionals to review everything before I made a single decision. Within the first week, I discovered something strange about the road surrounding my property. The HOA had recently paved several private neighborhood roads using gravel that appeared to come directly from my quarry. Nobody had contacted me for permission. I contacted the quarry foreman and asked him whether our company had sold gravel to the HOA. Mike checked the records carefully. His answer made the situation much more serious. According to the records, no authorized sale had been made to the HOA. Yet dozens of truckloads of gravel had somehow ended up on their private roads. I decided I needed answers before making any accusations. I drove toward the neighborhood to inspect the roads myself. The fresh gravel was unmistakably similar to the limestone we produced at the quarry. Then I noticed several construction trucks still working nearby. I approached the workers politely and asked who had authorized the material. One of them told me the HOA had arranged everything through its management company. That was the first time I heard Linda Whitmore's name. Linda was the HOA president. She had apparently approved the road project and believed the quarry was simply another resource available to the neighborhood. I decided it was time to speak with her directly. Linda greeted me professionally, but her expression changed when I mentioned the quarry gravel. She insisted the roads were part of an important neighborhood improvement project. I asked one simple question: who gave you permission to use my material? Linda looked at me and said the HOA had always considered the quarry access road part of the neighborhood's infrastructure. I told her that the quarry and every ton of material belonged to my property. Neither of us raised our voices, but the conversation had clearly changed. 2 days later, I received an official-looking letter from the HOA. It claimed that the gravel roads benefited the entire community and suggested I should continue providing the material. There was no purchase agreement attached. I immediately hired a local property attorney to review the letter and the land records. The maps showed that the quarry, mineral rights, and private access roads were clearly identified. The attorney told me to document everything before responding. I started photographing every road, gravel pile, truck route, and property boundary. Mike also preserved the quarry's delivery records and production logs. For the first time, I could see exactly how much material had disappeared. The numbers were staggering. Hundreds of truckloads had moved through routes connected to the HOA project. Whatever had happened, it was much larger than a simple misunderstanding. Linda called another meeting and asked me to stop making the issue bigger than it needed to be. I told her I had no interest in creating a neighborhood dispute. I simply wanted my property and business respected. Then Linda made a statement I knew I would never forget. She said, "The roads are for everyone here, so the gravel should benefit everyone too." I quietly asked her to put that position in writing. She refused to put it in writing. Instead, the HOA sent another notice demanding that quarry trucks stop using certain neighborhood routes. The irony was obvious. The same routes had been used to move gravel for their roads. My attorney advised me not to argue with the HOA. Instead, we prepared a complete timeline using property records, quarry invoices, photographs, maps, and truck logs. Every detail had to be documented. Then the HOA scheduled a special community meeting. Linda arrived with a thick folder and several board members beside her. She appeared confident that the neighborhood would support her. I walked into that meeting knowing I had 5,400 acres of record behind me. Linda believed she had the authority of the entire neighborhood. Neither of us knew that the documents on the table were about to change everything.